Hello, hello, hello. Bit late, I know. Well, the internet was down, so I was in no hurry, and then it's back. So we're here now. Couldn't have done it if the internet was down, so that kind of makes sense. So yeah, we'll see if anybody turns up. It's that slow bit at the beginning where there's no people. Because everyone's probably thinking he's not turning up. He's not turning up. He's too late. Where's he been? Well, I'm here. He's got top chat selected again, which is no use to anyone. And yeah, but hey, 7 people are in. That's all right, I suppose. Screen Spirit is in. How's McGroove been? Well, you've beaten Pegasus, and he's not going to be happy. He's going to sort you out. He's going to sort you out. Kitten Care's in. It's a bit warm, a bit humid tonight. And so we wait. La la la. Do 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 do. See, not a lot to talk about, is there really? We'll just stay here and be quiet. We'll just be. Pegasus, Screen Spirit beat you to it. I'm late, yeah. Well, like I said, there was no internet for a bit. The internet, the router was down, so then I thought, well, there's no point in rushing out if there's no internet. So took the dog out. And by the time I came back, the internet was back on again. So that is why it's late. Yeah. How's it going? Yeah, it's going. Still going. Still going. Going to be a short one, isn't it? Come on. Come on. You've got to get into this. Otherwise, there's very little point in me doing it. "17 people in. That's it. 17 people watching. Oh, it's dropped down to 14, 16. Oh, it's going up and down. It doesn't know what it's doing. People are watching and going, what is this nonsense? No, we don't know if it's shortened yet. It will be shortened if there's no questions, because you're not giving me much to work with. Here comes the coffee. Thank you. Thank you. It's going. It's going for Sano. It's still going. Do 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 do. Well, I've been grooving to. I can't remember. I can't remember. No. I'm sure I had something on the record player the other day. Be buggered if I remember what it was though. So I've put it back. I've been very, very good, and I put my records back in the rack. Oh, that was it. Yeah, I did two. That was no, because it's totally forgettable. I listened to Oldfield's Return to Ommadawn, and it's utterly forgettable, and that's why I've forgotten I'd listen to it. Utterly forgettable. Yeah, there is milk in my instant coffee. Brennan says, yeah, Tony K solo album. Indeed it is. Do it right. There's the one-handed keyboard player. It's only taken him, I don't know, 50 years, and Tony K has a solo album coming. It's probably going to eclipse the new Yes album. It's going to be brilliant. You're going to love it. Do you think that they just should all stop making records? Do you think they should just all stop? You know, everyone should just stop. Everyone. Just stop. Do you remember when music was interesting? And now it's just you're just waiting for the next disappointment. Or is that just me? Jack says a Tony Coe solo album would just be a photo album of pictures with his hand in the air. Well, this is it. That's got to be the album cut sleeve, isn't it? It's got to be the yeehaw. It's like he's riding Bronco. Warner says, I've got a question. I like honest answer. Who's more creative guitar player? Howe or Hackett? Well, it's easy. It's Hackett. Because Howe's pretty... Yeah, he just does what he does. That's such an easy question. Any record store day purchases, asked Brendan. Yes, there are. But do I reveal them? Do I play my hand now? Or do I wait for them to turn up and unbox them and be a big surprise? Well, there's only two, and it's the obvious ones. That's right, it's the Cranberries' Greatest Hits. I went for that one. You have to let it linger. Kitten Care says, we've heard it all before. They could stop any time, no loss. Indeed. Well, you've got that band. They're touring America. They're spreading the Delta variant across the USA. It's called the Delta Variant Tour, I believe, where I don't know how they've managed to smuggle, so many English or England-based musicians into the USA. I thought there was restrictions on this kind of stuff, but hey, we're gonna spread that Delta variant across the big country. Yeehaw! And yeah, couldn't he just get his missus to spray her tits silver? Couldn't he just get her they must be making a tidy sum from all the randy old men. But no, they're going to spread the virus, spread it across, wipe out the remaining morbidly obese anti-vaxxers of the USA. And that's progressive for you. That's progressive. What was the last great band? Well, it's probably me. Liam said, no Bowie picture disc this record store day. I'm shocked. Well, you got to remember that, all that stuff is from the Bowie estate. And again, I can't remember which, it was one of the 5 years documentaries, and I think, and somebody said Bowie went, he created this giant ledger of instructions that were going to be followed to the letter after his demise, and so everything that's come out has probably been at the behest of the man himself. So when people say, oh, it's all it's all cynical marketing and whatnot, I don't think so. I think it's the man himself saying, how can I stay relevant? I'll put out a picture disc. Laughing no. And but again, I don't really care, because there's a lot of it, isn't there? There's a lot of it, but there's also I've noticed there's also a lot of bootleggy stuff around at the moment. Not just Bowie, but from a lot of bands, and it's seeping everywhere. But Griswold says Nirvana's Nevermind turns 30 this year. Oh well, never mind. Brendan says Jarwable and Marconi Union was a goodie. Yeah, I could only buy a certain amount because I'm poor. and the YouTube doesn't pay. It's not with my stats. So yeah, I was just very selective in my choice. So they're obvious. They're so bloody obvious. So you won't be surprised. Jack Walsh says favourite Tom Waits album. No, he's there with Nick Cave, I'm afraid. So Sono says the band that found a loophole in the restrictions. A bit of a coin involved somewhere. I would imagine, but hey, you know, it's that thing about responsibility. You must, I don't know, maybe. Well, I don't know how they sleep at night. Probably on a big bed of money, but you know, there's that thing about would I be responsible for people getting ill? You know, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to be comfortable with that. You know, but they got to play the oldies for the oldies, haven't they? They got to play the oldies for the oldies. So yay. It's all rather pathetic. But there you go. Brendan says Tim Finn, Matt's new album. I can't get into it. I've listened to bits of it because I think it's on YouTube Music, and I had a little paddle in it. It's like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I think the best thing was the interviews that they did on YouTube. I think that's the best thing to come from it. But you know, I mean, it's not as bad. It just wasn't grabbing me. You know, it wasn't grabbing me. That's a good one, Jack. That is a good one. But I just imagine Bruford sitting in his garden, you know, sipping something alcoholic in his white suit, just sniggering to himself, thinking, "This turned out as expected." You know, when he thinks about that band and Genesis and Phil Collins, you know, he's just sitting there going, "Man, I called it the right way." You know, so there you go. Screen Spirit says, were you tempted by Oldfield's incantations? Yes, I was. Yeah, I might as well. It was that and the Elias of Sunhillow repress. I didn't need it, but it's 180 gram vinyl. I was quite interested to see what the pressing sounded like, because my copy is an original from 1976, and it's pressed on very wafer thin vinyl. I think it was around the time of the oil crisis, and I thought, well, it'd be interesting to see, you know, if there's any tangible difference between the two. I can't imagine there will be, but you know, I thought it might be something to try. There wasn't anything else there that really tickled me fancy, except for the Cranberries' greatest hits. I still might pick a copy of that up. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just going to say that, and someone just I see it in my eye line. What was my favourite 80s top 40 hit and top 40 band? Well, it's got to be Joe Dolce and Shut Up Your Face. Liam Moss says, a friend of mine picked up the Gorillaz box set. Exactly. He says, cheap, flimsy jacket stuffed in a box, 140. It's all fad and bubbles got burst. Well, I saw that and I thought, well, how that could be good. But now you've mentioned it, now I think it's not so good. Because it's all the albums, isn't it? And I thought, well, it could be, because I'm a big fan of that stuff. And there's, you know, a couple of the later ones I've not really listened to. So I thought, well, it could be fun. But I didn't realise it was cheap and flimsy. But yeah, you say about the bubble bursting, but if you look around, there's still record store day stuff available from years ago. So, you know, I got a feeling it's not as popular as it could be or should be. You know, so, you know, it's only so much there's only so much vinyl you can shift, isn't it, really? There's only so many things that they can repress, and there's so many things. You know, it comes to something, was it next month? Yeah, next month, August, they're repressing a band, I don't know if you're familiar with them, called The Knife. They're repressing 2 of their albums. I'm thinking, blimey, you know that they've run out of ideas when, you know, these albums are getting repressed. But, you know, yeah, it just seems to be that they're just constantly. Who can we put on vinyl now? So that is the thing of it, isn't it? Really. Kitten says, I got the original Elias from '76. Mine's pretty quite pressing. The cover of that is so above average. That's one of the few albums I kept over the years. Yeah, again, that's what I was kind of interested in, because you do notice a degradation in the quality of vinyl pressings after 76, 75. And when was the oil crisis? I think it's about 75, because they started reusing vinyl and pressing very, very thin, wafer thin discs to conserve the black stuff. So I'm kind of interested in if there is if it's any different. But again, it'd be interesting to see what master they use, if it's the rejiggered one, or it's, again, you always wonder where the source stuff, where it comes from, because I know people going about digital, and you can do a good pressing from a digital source, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it helps. I mean, oh God, I'd like to show you two records, but it's that band, right? It's that band. I just want to show you the grooves on different pressings, all right? So I won't actually mention the album or the band or show you, but I'm going to show you the records. Just think I'll get away with that. I'm just doing this to illustrate. I'm not. I just want to show you the difference between pressings, right? Pressings and dynamic response. No? Okay. Well, I think I can do it without anybody seeing. So just close your eyes. Everyone close their eyes until I say it's okay to look. Right. So imagine there's this band that no one's ever heard of, right? And they had this album out back in, 1972-ish. Yeah. And nobody bought it because it was rubbish. And it wasn't as good as their first album, which everyone buys because they really like that one. Imagine that. Imagine. Right, so just ignore the label if you can. Ignore the label. But can you see the grooves and the run out? The distance in the run out. Do you see the grooves there? Do you see that? You see that? You see the grooves and how much run out there is? There isn't much run out, is there? Because the grooves are well spaced. Yeah? Hold that thought. You're holding that thought. Well, imagine if you picked up a copy of an album that was originally out in 1972, but nobody bought it because it was not very good. And you picked up a repress of it from, I don't know, maybe the turn of the 90s, maybe 89, 90. Can you imagine that? I can imagine that. In fact, it's not bad. It's good thickness. But now, look at the run out there. Look at the run out. Do you see the run out there? How the groove is much more densely packed together. So you've got a bigger run out. Do you see that? Do you see that? Yeah. I just wanted to show you. That's all. I've got nothing more to comment on. But yeah, I found that interesting, And whether or not it's only bearing on the sound quality, because this was a different cut, because you haven't got the drummer talking at the end. They excised that. That's so they could put it back again and make you pay for it again. Don't tell anyone. I've told you that, all right? It's a very cunning thing that they do. So remove bits and then add them again, like it was some sort of mistake, but it wasn't. It's just to make you buy it again. So yeah, that's it. Jack says, vinyl and box, it seems to be getting more expensive. Indeed they do. Liam says, yeah, Jack box sets are getting way expensive. I want Master of the Puppets box set, but it goes for £1,000. My God, Liam, you need to sell a kidney. Ajax says, I was tempted Masters of Reality purple vinyl with a poster by Black Sabbath. But for 35, then £6 on the bus to get to the record shop and decide against it. I know, it's all a bit much. I mean, again, the ones that I got, I think in total it was over £60. That's what I mean about I can't really do much these days because, you know, £20, I can pick up 3 for £20, but this was 2 for 60. You know, sorry, I pick up 3 for 6. Oh, sorry, I'm not with it. I've never was with it, but you know what I mean. So it is getting expensive. I mean, some things I don't mind. Some things I don't genuinely mind picking up, like the ones last time, the Who Face Dances, which I haven't listened to yet. I must listen to it. But the Small Faces compilation, which again I think was done especially for it, and you can't get anywhere else. And I thought that was really cool. You know, there are some things that, like I said, that are specifically done, but a lot of the reissues, and I know they do them on coloured vinyl and whatnot, and that's okay. But you know, 6 months later they bring out a black edition, don't they? Or whatnot. Cushion says, I think it should be stated if the records have been created from a digital source, but maybe that would be blow the illusion of modern vinyl. It's analog, man, but much warmer than CD. Well, again, talking of that album from 1972, the one that nobody bought, you know, because everyone buys the first one because that's the one that was good because the featured artist didn't actually write any of it. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. It's just the way it is these days. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, with their represses, the recent ones, they're all right. They're all right. But then I thought, well, as I was selling it, I was getting rid of everything. I thought I'd do an A/B, and there was a certain, I don't know what I'm trying to illustrate there. Oomph, yeah, certain oomph. There's a certain frequency response that you get with the original pressings that you don't get with the newer ones. The newer ones are very clean, and some places airless. There's no air in them. And again, I don't know if it's come from maybe I've turned into a complete vinyl wanker. You know, maybe it's really, you know, it's been. But in saying that, there are other pressings, there are other things. You know, there have been other repressings that sounded all right, like Genesis. Their ones sounded all right, but nobody likes those ones because it's the newer mixes. But I don't mind them. Can't please everyone, can you? I don't know what I'm talking about. I've gone completely I've gone off the deep end again, everyone. But yeah, vinyl, isn't it great? Oh, I know what I was listening to. Oh, I forgot. I was listening to a lot of Peter Hamill. The other day. I listened to. Hold it. Let me pull up the discography. Peter Hamill. I need to discography because otherwise I'll forget. See, Peter Hamill was born on the 5th of November too, same as the missus. Funny that. I listened to Chameleon in the Shadow of the Night, Silent Chord Empty Stage, In Camera, and a Black Box. Yeah, that's it. That's what I listened to. But I forgot. I was going through a bit of a Peter Hamill phase. Thanks for asking. I knew there was something. I knew. Jack says, runs of reissues seem to be getting more limited too. Copies seem to sell fast, especially on CD. We've seen it with the Jethro Tull ones. You know, again, you do wonder just how many copies they are making and how many they sell. Again, I don't think that many people are interested in CDs. I don't think that many people are interested in vinyl. They're very, very, very shady as to the numbers involved. But hey, Gary wants to know how my day was. It's all right. Kids are off school now, so yeah, it's all right. What have I discovered? We've been talking about record store day, I believe. Lennon's in. Kitten says, yeah, I remember the oil crisis back then. I also remember the questions scrolling up the screen. That the band's albums must be released on Virgin Vinyl. The other group's albums were very noisy on that label. It was very quiet. Well, that would have been before the album. That would have been before the crisis, wouldn't it? That would have been because 72. I thought it was about 76 because you've got the delightful Neil Innes song "Recycle Vinyl Blues," which is brilliant. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Lennon was in the shower. Thanks for. Well, I hope you've scrubbed your plums. Ajax is bought Cleveland Calling by Rory Gallagher. Rory Gallagher. Lennon says Richard Branson started a sweepstake. Are you going to go into space with him? Could be interesting. Cushion said, I've gone a bit cold on vinyl, tired of the price gouging. You know, I see, I'm very selective. I'm very, very selective, see. I forgot to order the Velvet Fog album, though, off of Amazon, and now it's sold out, so I'm very annoyed because it has one of the most delightfully bad album covers. Yeah, just wanted to show you the album cover. Yeah, I'll do it one day. But you know, sometimes I go onto eBay, and if there's something that takes my fancy, you know, oh, wouldn't mind that. You know. But the problem is, I just prefer the vinyl experience of, you know, standing in front of the record racks that extend on forever and ever and ever. It's a bit like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, in the West Wing. I just stand there, just looking, going, oh God, you know, and just trying to figure out what to play. And then I like the process of selecting something and then walking all the way back from the West Wing, you know, sitting down with a cup of tea, no sugar, no biscuits, because that's my life now. I'm diabetic. I'm hoping my tablets will arrive tomorrow. And then sitting down and just putting it on and, you know, and appreciating it. Ever since I've gone microlinear, it's made all the difference. I tell you, microlinear, that's where you want to go. And but I've always liked it. You know, from back again, it takes me. It's a bit of a nostalgia thing, from when me and the missus were record collecting, you know, back in the day, and I just have lots of fond memories of, you know, putting on the records and that, you know. But the CDs, I very rarely visit the rack and put a CD on, because I can just pull it up on the screen and, you know, pull it up on either via the computer, via streaming, you know, because you can do that. You can stream it from the computer. You know, very rare. Very rare. And also, I can't see the track number and the time because my Blu-ray player has no display, because they want you to keep the TV on. And I don't want the TV on when I'm listening to a CD. I think this is a perfectly reasonable request to have DVD players and Blu-ray players with displays so we can see. Brendan says CDs outsold vinyl last year. Good. Garrett says thanks again for the latest prog reviews on things that are actually interested. Not Pink Floyd. Well, killing the channel. That's why Coffee Time's back. The only problem with Coffee Time is I do it in the morning, and it takes something like 13 hours for YouTube to process the file and make it active. So it's 13 hours late. Now, there's two ways I can approach this. I can actually do it live and do the little chat and record it and stream it at the same time, because you can do that using OBS, and then upload it. And then it'll be there in like in the morning. But I do not know what is wrong with YouTube's platform. You know, it's just there's always something. There's always something wrong with it. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I do wonder, because it's not instant, and unless I send a link out, and again, only a few people come in via the link. I think a lot of people like the, you know, on the, what do you call it? Feed. On the feed. But yeah. Mutton says, do you see yourself ever going to a concert again? No. Or are you content with all you've seen over the years? Well, I'm a diabetic now. I'm in a protected group. I ain't going anywhere that could harm my health. So no, again, it all depends. If I had a life, if I get a job, which I'm applying for now, because I'm a free man, but that should be funny because I ain't got any references anymore because one of them died, and I've tried to contact the others and they're not replying to me. So, and I was going to go for teacher training, but I got to go in via UCAS, whatever that is. And they asked for 2 references, and they demanded. They said, "Well, you've got to have 2 references." And it's like, but nobody knows me. It's like, what do you do? And they say, like, talk, maybe one of your teachers or lecturers. I was like, that was 30 odd years ago. So, because there's a teacher training thing that I could get on. I think I've got enough points win prizes, and it's local. It's at Epping, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that now if I can't find some references. So, yeah, that's what happens. You've got to feel sorry for women who give up their career to have children, because I'm in their position. Jack says, price of new vinyl simply averages 30 quid in most record shops. Some decent records still manage to keep prices fair. Well, take the Mike Oldfield one. I saw that going up as high as $37.99, and it's meant to be like a 30 quid. I think I got it for $31.99, maybe. I don't know. But one place I was looking at had it for $37.99. I thought, well, that's 40 quid with postage. Over 40 quid with postage, so no. No, don't like that. Lennon's feeling depressed because he's been abandoned. Why? Who's abandoned you? Is this thing says, why do you not like the featured artist? Au contraire, it's the featured artist that doesn't like me. I hear his missus talks highly of you. I doubt it. Well, if she does, then why didn't she call off Declan Colgan? It's not true, is it? I think you're making it up. Lennon says, especially since all my pals live too far from me. Well, that's just life, isn't it? Maybe you need some pals that are closer to you. Or, what do they Zoom? You Zoom them? Everyone does Zooming. Yeah, do that. Kitten says, I like those new remixes, Genesis as well. But I like the 93 one, Ramosi CD as well. So it's all good. Exactly, me too. I can swap, I can flip flop, I can listen to one or listen to the other. I like the newer ones because they catch me out sometimes. There's bits in it that you make you go, I don't remember that, because they've added bits in where they've reconstructed effects and whatnot. So, that's fun, because it's not exactly the same. I listened to some of the Van der Graaf Generator remixes that they've been posting, and I thought, there's a box set coming out in September, and it's like 140 quid, and I'm like, I've got to pay for Herb's new school uniform. That's going to be more than 140 quid. School uniform is expensive. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. Got to measure him. But I'm worried by the time he gets to September, he's going to have grown out of his school uniform, his expensive school uniform. So maybe I'll get it really big for him. And he'll be like the Incredible Hulk and grow into it. Lenin says, I have a progressing idea. A battle royale with all the members of that band with that guy holding the championship belt. Oh, but who would win? Well, the problem is a number of them are no longer with us, are they? So that is the problem. That is the problem. But I'm trying to think. The ones that surviving members. It's got to be Bruford, isn't it? Because I imagine he probably does yoga or something. I imagine he's pretty supple. He's got he's got a core strength still, and he's smarter than them all. He's smarter than the whole lot of them put together. So, because he's like a professor. He's like Dr. Bruford, isn't he? So that instantly makes him the winner. Though, always keep your eye out for Pete Sinfield. Yeah, always keep your eye out for him because he's got the bulk. He can really, It would have been Greg Lake back in the old days. It would have been Greg Lake because I reckon he could have handled himself. He'd have a few slaps. But Pete Sinfield is the one. He's the dark horse. Screen says, I think Mrs. Featured Artist is to be one of the most irritating attention seekers ever. In recent, like in the past year, yeah. I mean, look, I don't have anything against her. I've always admired her. If you read her autobiography, it's really good. And again, I come to her from the 80s, and I wasn't really a big fan of her music. It was all right. It was pop. It was like, okay. But, I work with Jarman, Derek Jarman's work, work with Jubilee and The Tempest and stuff like that. And the acting she did, what's it called? Was it the Tower? Something? Tower? Not the Ivory Tower. I can't remember. Skinny dipping in that as well. I just come across as the worst pervert in the world. Just because I remember all the nude scenes. I can't help it. Where was I? Nude scenes. Yeah, so again, also she did a lot of TV presenting in the UK and that. So there's a different side to her. There's not just the singing side. There's this, presenter side. And she used to do lots of stuff. I mean, crikey, in the 90s, she did I can't remember what it was called now, but it was a sex talk show that was on late night. She used to, kind of wear a corset and have the boys pushed up and everything. And it was all, done rather sensibly, and she'd give advice and talk about stuff like that, and that used to be on in the wee hours. So I'm kind of used to her, doing that kind of thing. But she doesn't need to paint her titties silver and shake them in front of the camera. She could have just played this stuff. She could have dressed up, could have dressed up and had fun with it, like Boadicea or something, like she did in the old days, and people she'd have still got the views. But it's the cynical manipulation of the YouTube platform, because if I got my titties out, I'd get slapped with a nudity warning. I know that for sure. And there are rules about nudity and exposure on here, and again, there seems to be a rule for one and another rule for another. So I don't know. Naked Yoga next week on this channel. Naked Yoga, do tune in. But yeah, I can see how you'd be irritated. I don't follow any of that. But because of Facebook, it sometimes pops up when people I follow talk about it or thumbs it up or whatever it is. And so it falls into my feed and I'm like, oh God. And so then the curiosity gets the better of me, and I show it to the missus at lunch. I show her on the iPad, I go, look what they've done this time. And she goes, oh God, why does she need to do that? And again, it's that weird duality of feminism. Feminism is, being able to express yourself any way you want, but there's also a point of, drawing a line of sexually exploiting yourself, if you know what I mean. Do you need to do that if you have the talent? And so, the missus says, oh God, she doesn't need to do that, So I take my cue from her. So that's that. But yeah, if they're making money and they're having fun, that's fine. I just wish the rules were applicable to everyone, Cushion says the Velvet Fog. It's not Velvet Frog. You're thinking of Monty Python there. It's Velvet Fog with 2 G's. cover has a bit of a New York Dolls look to it. Yeah, again, it was the '60s, man. It was crazy. It was that album was lauded by John Peel. They were going to be the next big thing, and they died on their ass. And I mean, it's kind of that typical late '60s psychedelic kind of rock, keyboard driven rock thing. But I was just curious about I thought the album sleeve was just, so, and it's on Music on Vinyl as well, because I do like their pressings, because they do some good things. So I mean, I might have a look around for it, see if I can get it, but I don't know because money's too tight to mention. No, I have seen a job. I've seen a job I'm going to go for. It's that working at Real World Studios as an engineer. I ain't got a chance in hell, but I just fancy putting my CV in and mentioning that Peter Gabriel follows me on Twitter. See if that holds any sway. Because I think I might be able to, make the tea or sweep up. I can use a broom, pretty good like that. Maybe they'll let me change the guitar strings. I could do that. I could change guitar strings. I'm good at doing that. Just the nylon ones, like my fingers. It takes me a bit of time changing nylon strings these days, but I might go for it. The missus said we could relocate to Bath if I get it, but I think the chances of that happening are the same as monkeys flying out my butt. But yeah, I applied to a few jobs the last couple of days. Now I'm a free man. But like I said, I don't know how it's going to work because I don't have any referees, which is a problem. Garrett says, do you remember the Young Marble Giants? They're a football team, aren't they? American football team. Lenny says, what is she doing with that guy? Go and read her autobiography. It's very interesting. It's all explained in there. Russell's in. He says, hi. Peter says, the last record I bought was the Emerald Isle Neo Psychedelic Pop. It's a vinyl Williams side project. You would hate it. Okay. Good. Kitten says, probably should get a proper dedicated CD player. They're out there. I have a CD recorder from 2000, Philips. It has meters that's sometimes interesting to watch. Yeah, but I don't like buying old 20-year-old electronics. I bought a fancy pants Denon Blu-ray player not that long ago, maybe 5 years ago, and it went kaput. It just died on me, and I spent good money on it, and I couldn't buy a replacement because they stopped making them, and I felt very aggrieved by it. And every so often I go onto eBay and try and find the cheapest Sony CD player, like hi-fi CD player separate that I can find. And I look at it and then I end up just going, because they look crusty or, they haven't got a box. I want it to be like it was in the 80s. Why can't Sony just do a proper CD player like they used to? Or I could get one from Cambridge Audio. And I had a Cambridge Audio. What did I buy theirs? I had something. I bought two things because when my shop got struck by lightning, yeah, that happened as well, and it got flooded. All we needed was, a plague of boils, and I think we'd have had the fucking full gamut, of biblical disasters. I bought Cambridge Audio stuff, and it sounded like cardboard. It was awful, horrible. Then he says, they recently covered You Really Got Me. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Ajax says, I'm bargain bin. Scrolled up again. I'm a bargain bin type guy. Star frequent now and again. That's £2 section. Trilogy by LP. And one by Yes. Going for one by Yes and 5 Miles Out by Arfield. £2 each. Well, again, that's the kind of money I was spending. I was getting back in the old days. It's not the bulk now because I've bought a lot of new stuff, but my original record collection, most of it was bought for quids. You're going for a tenner and you come out with 10 records. Now I wouldn't buy anything like £4 or £5 because, too expensive. Ajax says, I have Incantation CD. I'm happy enough with it, but is the RSD one worth it? I don't know. It's on clear vinyl. It was previously on vinyl when they reissued it, but it was very small. I think it was only a few hundred copies. It's not an album I like. It's like I like bits of it. It's all right. I've got to be in the mood for it. It's after his exegesis thing, and so all his passion has kind of gone out of thing. Gone out of his playing, so it's all pretty mechanical. So I'm not the greatest lover of that record, but it's clear vinyl, isn't it? Clear vinyl. But we'll find out. Oh, you reckon Jamie Muir would win? He dropped a gong on his foot. Kitten says, boy, record prices are insane. I'm not going to pay $20 plus when I was buying records back in the day, new for $3.99. Well, again, this one, I've got to be careful. This one, look at the price. Look at it. Look at that, $6.99 back in 30 odd years ago. And that was new. Munton says, I don't get what people find entertaining or funny about those Sunday lunch videos. They're just kind of meh, no matter what the song is they're covering, unless it's Gentle Giant. Christian says, have you heard the Israeli Moody Blues tribute band? They're called the Mood. No. Russell says, remember when a vinyl album was a £5, £9 for a double album? Good times indeed. Peter Christian says, Googling Toya nude. Don't go blind. Says they're going to leave their fortune to charity meet. They're going to create the featured artist foundation for kids who can't read music good. Trust me, it's going to be a giant mausoleum to him. I imagine with some sort of statue in marble, very big. And anatomically correct as well. Jack says, Greg Lake had the looks and voice that could have made him a typical 70s pop star, but luckily he followed a more interesting path, going from playing in show band to forming that band. The thing is, right, so if you look at that band, right, everybody that left that band, bar the featured artist, had success outside of that band. Yeah? I'm thinking, except Michael Giles. But then Michael Giles, how do you measure success? But if Greg Lake, ELP, but he also had one of the biggest number ones with Father Christmas. Who wrote lyrics to that? Pete Sinfield, who also went on to write some of the biggest hits for some of the biggest stars. Celine Dion, Bucks Fizz, Land of Make Believe, which I was forced to sing at school when I was 11 years old. It was in the stars that I was going to end up with that band. So you got who's the other? Who else was in that band? Ian McDonald went off, did Foreigner, didn't he? Yeah. So if you look at it, everyone involved in that band, apart from the featured artist, has always gone on and had like a second career that has been successful too, whereas he hasn't. No success. Not when you compare it to the likes of Foreigner or ELP or whatnot. Just saying. I mean, even John Wetton did it with Asia, Just saying. These are talented people. Just saying. Mountain says, when's the last time you listened to solo featured artist? Not that long ago. The other day I listened to the one. That one. I listened to that one. But the one with the white cover. It's a compilation. So it was, Martin says, is it hard to listen? No, because I'll always say, Exposure is a very important album to me, and I love that album, and I'll always love it because it spoke to me. I got into Exposure before that band, and there you go. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the problem. I don't like. Again, I don't care because you move on. But I mean, I'm not going to listen to what they do now. I had trouble with that when they reformed. I had trouble with them back in 2008 when they reconvened, and the fire had gone out of it. And it wasn't because you know, Trey Gunn had left or Bill Bruford wasn't involved in it. It was just I felt like some of the accuracy and some of the fire had gone. And it's the same with the current incarnation. Yeah, it's all right. But as Bruford says, is it rock and roll? No, it's not. Bruford was very arch about it when he saw them. He was like, it's all right, but it's not rock and roll. There's no fire in it. There's no passion. No passion in it. It's all very mechanical. So yeah, again, even listening to the live stuff, it's just it's Dullsville. There's nothing exciting about it. It's purely an exercise in karaoke and nostalgia, and that's fine if you like that, but not interested. Yeah, at least when Gabriel did it, he did it with an orchestra. It was a bit hokey. He went back, but he tried to redefine what it was. And it's quite interesting to watch. I'm not a big fan of it. Some of it, like Rhythm of the Heat, I must do that review actually. I should review the album. Some of it doesn't work and some of it is good. I think it works with Rhythm of the Heat. And I'll always listen to the one from 1972 because that one speaks to me as well, more so than the original. The original one is a good album, but it doesn't talk to me like that one does, the 72 album. It's just, I don't know, it just chimes with me. So yeah, I'll never stop listening to those occasionally. Same with Fish. Well, I was never a real Fish fan anyway. I listened to Vigil in the Wilderness of Mirrors. It was okay. I listened to Internal Exile. And then by the time Suits came along, I thought, he's just playing the same furrow, and that's what he did, and that's what he's been doing for since he left Marillion. It's okay if you like someone who's incredibly verbose to state the bleeding obvious. He thinks he's a poet, and he ain't. He ain't a poet. He has this romantic idea that he is some, he's like Robbie Burns, but but with music, and the music's always weak and the lyrics are always overblown because he's got no one to rein him in. He's got no one to say, nah, stop that. And if you like it, that's fine, but I found it all a bit I just find it not very pleasant listen. So at least Marillion try and do different things occasionally, but they have the problem with Marillion is they have this cycle of doing fairly mediocre albums, and then out of the blue there will be something good. The last time it was Marbles, and before that it was Afraid of Sunlight, and then they did quite a few mediocre ones with some good songs, some good bits. Then Marbles was like wow, and I'm hoping that the next one, you always hope that the next one's going to be a good one, but that's the thing. They have the potential to deliver, and you kind of hope with the pandemic. I've always wanted Marillion to have like 5 years off. I've always wanted them to have like a long rest and then go back, because they're always on that cycle of tour, do the convention, tour, do an album, and I don't think that's always a good way. It's a good starting point. Sometimes it's good just to cut free and have different experiences and go off and decompress and then come back. In terms of in creative space. But Fish, and also he's just a prick. He banned me from his gigs. How dare he? How dare he assume that I would pay good money to hear him warble? Yeah, I was upset when Greg Lake died. I wasn't upset with Keith Emerson because he blew his brains out and left his girlfriend to clear up the mess. That is just, ugh, it's pathetic. Yeah, he had problems with his hands. He could have just sat on a stool and people would have come and listened to him tell anecdotes. You know, he was loved. That's what gets me. He was loved. He was loved by people. And people would have just said, "Okay, you don't play anymore. Tell us what it was like, playing with, the Nice or whatnot." And he could have just done that and took it easy and put his feet up. And I just think it's wickedness. Greg Lake, again, you could tell Greg Lake was dying. Greg Lake was in the process of dying and preparing himself for death. And he wasn't too amused with what, Emerson did. You can read his comments, And there's a guy, and if you read his biography, he's got his grandson, and I get upset just thinking about it. He would have done anything. He would have given it all away for another 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And Emerson just blew his brains out because I can't use my hands. I can't feel my feet. Thankfully, I don't play the guitar with my feet. Everyone goes, "Oh shit, someone break his hands." There you go. Christian says, "Do you think you'd have any difficulty adjusting back to the day job routine?" I just see myself probably being fired because I'd say something inopportune, cracking tits, love, or something, Not what I'd ever say. So that was a joke. I don't know. I don't know. I've got to do something. I've got to do something with my life. I've got to show the missus I'm going to come good one day. I think if I drop dead, they're not going to play out on the insurance because I haven't told them I've got diabetes. So, I better do that. I keep forgetting. I don't want to phone them up. I don't want to admit it. I don't know. I want to do something. I don't want to sit here all the time because I can't do anything with YouTube. I can't. This isn't going anywhere. Only you losers are interested in watching me every week. But it's not enough to sustain anything, I can't, again, I do reviews of things I like and nobody's interested. And, but if I sat here and talked about Pink Floyd every day, boy, would I be rich beyond my wildest dreams. Kitten says, "That would be very awesome working in real world. A dream come true." Well, again, I don't know if I've got, because there are kids out there who actually got degrees in this stuff and got real experience, whereas I'm just some, chancer who made some songs, I've used Logic Pro, and that suddenly makes me a record producer, But no, it came up in my Facebook feed, and I got excited like I was 17 again. It's like, oh God, I'd love to do that. And it's very rare for me to see something go, I'd love to do that, A lot of the job adverts I have to read really carefully because I don't understand half of what they're asking for these days because it's all shrouded in double speak and and language that I do not understand. I'm going, what does that mean? So, but my CV is just, I haven't worked in an office for 20 years. I haven't worked for 10, because I gave up the business in 2011. So, so that was that. And before that, I was working freelance writer for like 7 years. So I've worked for myself for too long, and a lot of companies don't like seeing that on your CV because they see you as being an independent mind and they can't control you. It's like, oh, this guy knows how things work, whereas I'm just an head down kind of guy, not rock the boat. I make everyone look good. Just leave me alone. I'm one of those people. Hunter says, "You may have answered before, but how long ago when Peter Gabriel followed your account?" I don't know. This is on Twitter. I have no remembrance of it, but it was near the beginning. It was a long, long time ago, I think, and I don't know why. I don't know when people follow me. I'm ignorant. I don't pay much attention to Twitter, or anything for that matter. I Again, you can get too obsessed with it. I mean, I'm a little bit obsessed with it as well because I tend to use it as a news feed for news stories. So I'm like always checking, what's happening in the news? Is the Queen Mum died? That kind of thing. Because I like to keep up to date with these things. I'd be very upset if anything happened to Prince Philip. But yeah, so I don't know when it was, but it seems like forever. Lenin loves psychedelia. He certainly does. Jack says, I remember hearing Keith died just before my dinner time. I spent a whole meal just hoping it wasn't true. Yeah. Where are we? Oh God, they scrolled up the screen again. Then it says, I'm finally listening to brain cell surgery. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Though the way they split the song, they should not have, whatever. No, come on, we're not doing drugs. Drugs are stupid. Favourite prog vocalist? Well, it's got to be Gabriel, isn't it? Easy. Munton says, I hope Cole Palmer is doing well. Oh, he's fine physical fitness. His body is a temple. It's all that monkey semen that he drinks. Walsh says, do you ever think Oldfield recovered any of the passion? Yeah. If you look at him playing in '81, is it Montreux when he's with oh God, oh crap, I can't remember his name. But anyway, that's good. That's a good gig. Harry likes Hergis Ridge. It's his favourite album. Martin says, would Bucks Fizz, Are You Ready be good for album or prog review? No. Cushion says, but look at all the success the featured artists are having on YouTube now. Shane says, remember when Rykodis wrote Barry albums? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember that. But I wasn't collecting vinyl in them days. In them days, I'd given up on the vinyls. Cushion's a Jane Aston fan. Lenny says, do you think Kate Bush can be considered prog? Absolutely. Totally. What's your thought on Boyd Rice? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Fasano says, he's talking to Garrett. Lenny says, I've learned the Velvet Underground song, All Times Parties. Oh, very good. Walsh says, thoughts on Trey Gunn, his input to the band. He seems like an interesting musician. Yes, and again, it's because the main problem with Gunn is he was hanging around with that bloke for too long. So I know. I mean, his music's okay. I quite liked the stuff he did. When was it? Oh God, the Trey Gunn band stuff. It was kind of interesting. Joy of blah, 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 and the other one that he did. I've got them down there somewhere. Got them down there. The one when he mixes the Eastern music and that is quite good. And then there's a good video again on the compilation album. There's a DVD, and on that, I think someone's put it on YouTube. They're playing and this woman gets up and starts getting them out. She starts dancing topless in front of Trey Gunn, and I've done it again. I've gone back to the titties again, haven't I? Can't help it. Which is where my mind goes. Look, I think we can all agree that Guitarcraft was a terrible experiment that failed. That's it. What good came out of that? Nothing. But yeah, I mean, Gunn's he's an all right kind of player. He occupies an interesting space because he was doubling up on what the other guy's parts were some of the times. Again, I think he hid a lot of what the featured artist couldn't play. I think he, I think he was doubling up for him. And also, well, the story was, I don't know how true the story was, is that he was effectively given the Order of the Royal Boot because he wanted more. He wanted a production credit. He wanted more, more credit, because he was writing the charts out and everything and organising things on the last two albums. He was taking more of a arranger role in the situation, and and that's why he went. But I think history has been rewritten since then, So I could be completely wrong. That was rumour. It certainly makes sense when you think of all the scores and that he's brought out in the years. It's almost like look, this is what I did, So yeah, an interesting player, talented, but I don't think his true voice was really allowed to come out, because again, when you join that cult of the Guitarcraft, all you do is end up doing stuff like Guitarcraft. Just go and listen to California Guitar Trio. It's all right, but they're not going to set the world on fire, are they? Someone says, "Oh, they're talking about." Yeah, no one's trying suicide. Come on. No one's trying suicide. Remember, there's bits of you can drop off. I have parts of me that don't work properly, right? Parts of me that just, I have issues. I'm in pain a lot of the time. I pray for a day without pain. And I said this to the missus the early hours of this morning. And I worry as I get older that I won't have the strength to carry on because of the pain. And like I said, there isn't a day goes by where I don't feel some degree of discomfort from all of this. And like I said, I've had it for 3 years now. And, and at the moment, I'm relatively strong to an extent. But, what if? What if? And that's the problem, isn't it? What if? Because it only takes a certain level of things. But I'm a coward anyway. That's the problem. I'm a coward. So I'm all right. But what if? What if? But we're not doing that. Munton says, if the current lineup of that band put out a studio album by the end of the year, I think, just go and listen to Jack Shit's album. The majority of that was rejected for a studio album. So that's what you'd have got. Again, considering that, A Sparsity of Melodies was the last album, a studio album, it don't look good, does it? But people will lap it up. It's not for me. It's just like, oh God. There's nothing exciting in it, is there? There's no urgency. There's no potency to it. It's all pretty, inconsequential. And I said that at the time before all this happened. So, well, that album um, is a nice ending. What you mentioned, the one from 2003. It's just stop there, park it. It follows the likes of like the Wake of Poseidon, things like that in terms of structure. It's got that classic that band structure. So yeah, I mean it's pretty much a good one. It's a good one, but I don't think they've got anything to say musically. I don't think there's much more to be said. So because for that you need talent and you need people with vision, forward-thinking people, and that ain't that band. That ain't that band at all. So there you go. Oh God, here we go. Shall we just get rid of you? Yeah, goodbye. I can't stand arseholes. Russell says, I think Never Forever was quite proggy. Well, she is. Everything she is. I mean, crikey, look at Ariel. It's a double album, and one side of it is a complete, long, progressive rock song. Incredibly progressive. Kitten says, if I'm asked you, what was your business? It was, well, I was a freelance writer, and then I ran a newsagents, sold newspapers and sweets because I wanted a like a lifestyle business to be able to raise my kids, in a village, get away from it all. And it was the dumbest thing I ever did. But there you go. Am I going to keep my Trey Gunn CDs? Probably not. I don't know. Probably not. There's no point in keeping any of this stuff. It's all landfill at the end of it. Now it says, in lockdown, I can see your streams. Remember, never cross the streams. Kitten says, sorry you're experiencing pain. No, it's always going to be, it's the neuropathy. It's all part of the diabetes. Look it up. Look up neuropathy. And there's many different varieties of it to choose from. Luckily, the stuff in my fingers has eased off, but I've got it in my feet quite badly now. More so on the left than the right. And, last night, my feet were freezing. I was in bed, I couldn't sleep. I said to the missus, my feet are cold. My feet are freezing. And I don't know if you know what the weather was like in the UK. It was like 21 degrees. And I said, oh God, my feet are so cold. And she felt me, she went, no, they're warm. And that's what I've got at the moment because of the diabetes. And it's just, it's awful. But, I'm doing my best to, to tackle that and lost more weight, and I'm eating sensibly, and no more Red Bull for me, I'm afraid. Like I ever drank that stuff in the first place. I've drunk one sip of Red Bull when I had the shop because my mum dared me to do it. We were saying what a disgusting drink it was, and we opened one and sniffed it. We stood around, and Mum went, "Go on, try it." I went, "No." And I said, "Well, I'll do it if you do it." And we took turns. It was the most disgusting drink I've ever tasted. I think that's what gave me diabetes. But no, it won't fade because it's neuropathy. There's no cure for it. It's just going to carry on. It's going to get worse, and eventually, if I'm really unlucky and my feet take a turn for the worst, I can end up losing my feet or losing a leg. And that's not going to be good. And it can spread. I mean, you can get it, in the core of your neck can cause heart problems. Again, this is why I worried about my heart, because it goes skippity, skippity, bippity, bippity. It's been okay the last couple of days because I didn't take any tablets because I've run out of them. So maybe the tablets are affecting it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to be good. I had a lovely bit of haddock for dinner tonight. Haddock and some new potatoes. It was delicious. Oh, I made the missus jealous because they didn't have haddock. I had haddock because I'm special now. What was the very first album that was so good? It had an emotional impact on you. Russ Abbott's Madhouse. So anyway, I think I lost connection. Look, we got to the end, and I'll see you next time. All right. Apparently, YouTube, they're going to be doing the tip jar. She'll be out to give me money direct. It's called applause, I think they're calling it. You can give me applause. I'd rather have your money, though. On that note, there's only one more thing left to say, that is, don't forget, if you can't be good, then be careful. But more importantly, don't tell your mum. Ta-ra.